So here we are, guys. Coffs Harbour, Ben and Nat Gray, multi-person franchisee of the year 2023 for New South Wales, but also the Big Gong, national franchisee of the year. Welcome, guys. Thanks for taking time to catch up.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Real pleasure. So we're sitting here. Some might say, what are you doing sitting outside? Well, if you look behind us, down at the local netball courts, I'll let these guys tell the story, but proud sponsorship and plenty of exposure. So why don't we start with that, guys? How did that come about? The girls, obviously. Tell us a little bit about the family.
Yeah, well, we have two girls, 9 and 11, Hannah and Abby, both keen netballers. And we were here on a Saturday and saw that they were looking for someone to advertise, and we jumped at it. And it's been very beneficial for us so far, which is great.
Nice to be able to combine family desires with the girls and their sport and to do something that's going to help promote the business while supporting the club. So, guys, a lot of people, some of the network, you get to know one another, but not everyone knows everybody, and particularly when you've got new faces joining. So, take our crowd through the journey of Ben and Nat leaving Sydney all those years ago, coming up the Coffs Harbour. Talk us through the story. Ben, do you want to kick us off and give us the background?
Yeah, so we were actually just renovating our house at home, just looking to move suburbs, not necessarily to leave Sydney, just move suburbs, get girls into a better school area, that sort of stuff. Went up to sell the house and surprised on what we got offered for it, so hence the sea change.
So how did you guys pick Coffs Harbour and how long ago was it now?
9 years.
Wow.
My thing was it was far enough away not to go to Sydney in a day and back. So, yeah, that was it. If we were going to Sydney, we were going there for a reason.
Mhm. And we'd come for a holiday too and loved it. So
Yeah.
yeah, Abby was I think a year old when we came and she loved it. So yeah, made sense.
So you guys have sea changed. From conversations I've had with you in the past, there was no real tie to Coffs other than you'd had that holiday, you liked it here. So you pretty much started from scratch. So take us through that journey of settling into a new regional town for you and what that's looked like over the 9 years you've been here.
It was hard because both Nat and I don't have family, nothing, no one up here to help us. So that was challenging. Come up with no job, no nothing. We just didn't know what we were going to do. We had to get money in our pocket, but that was basically it. So I've always enjoyed working with my hands, being on tools. So we just went down that searching, I guess. What's the best business for us?
It honestly was the craziest, biggest gamble of our lives. I mean, coming up with no family. Hannah was 4 months old. Happy was two. And we just went for it, and we took a huge gamble, and not, coming to a place that Hira Hubby wasn't really a big brand name at that stage. So we were, it was a bit of a scary, decision, but we had faith and we jumped in, and it's been, year after year of growth. And it's like I said, we grew with the girls. Like as they're growing, it's freed up our time more, and we've grown at that sort of a pace, which has been really good for us and our family. So yeah.
Interesting you say you had the faith because I think it is a big bold decision to leave everything you know behind, go to a completely different location, 5.5, 6 hours away, and then go into business for yourself. First time, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
this time.
So
Yeah.
you certainly have taken everything front on. So you said the business has grown with the girls. How has their involvement in the preschools, into the primary schools, into the netball club, how has that helped you guys settle in from a social aspect, from a business aspect, from the girls settling in and finding friends, etc.?
I guess for me, it was a little easier on me because I'm out seeing people, seeing customers, that sort of stuff. As when we moved up, we didn't have kids in school, didn't have anything. So it was very hard to, I guess, make new friends until the girls got into preschool, those sort of things. From there, it built right from preschool time. So
Yeah.
we got involved with the schools where we could. So
Yeah. Did some work for the preschool. You know, parked my car at the school, and jobs all around the area there because they see the car, and parents from the school and teachers, and it kind of helps you fall into the community, and people see you and they see that you're part of the community, that you're not just a big company, that you're part of Coffs Harbour and what comes with it. So I think it definitely helps us form more of a, you know, showing people who we are and what we do, and that we are just normal people. We've got kids and family, and Coffs is very much like that in terms of, you know, being a smaller regional place. It's all word of mouth. It's all who you know, and I know Nat from such and such school. She's great. Yeah, you should give him a call. So it kind of works out that way, and golf as well. I think, yeah.
It's funny, is it? Because at the end of the day, Hubby's always been a community business. Obviously, if you're in a Sydney or a Melbourne or a Brisbane, you've got a whole lot more density in terms of the shirts and the vehicles driving around. But like you say, most of our guys have got kids and they've got some sort of tie to the local community, and that's why these sorts of sponsorships have been so good. And look, for the people watching the interview, we always go to pains to point out that our Franchisee of the Year awards process. The initial process, these guys won the multi-person for New South Wales, as I said in the opening, and that's based on a combination of financial performance, growth in the business, and the way you conduct yourself and manage the whole Hubby business in terms of what you do as a franchisee. When we get to national, we scrap the financial piece and we just focus in on who's the best ambassador in our judges' mind for that year. So 2023, after your 9 years of slogging away up here, has culminated in getting the big gong, where we've just sat down and independently assessed you guys in your presentation as being the most worthy. So it just goes to highlight. Doesn't matter where you are around Australia, big town, small town, or something in between. It's what you do and how you do it. So guys, tell us some of the highlights that you feel 2023 represented for you in terms of things you did well that were part of that assessment and us judging you guys to be the worthy winners of National Franchisee of the Year.
I suppose our first one was the biggest step we've made so far, is putting on a full-time employee. We needed someone and we weren't sure whether it was the right thing to do. Since that's happened, it's just helped the business grow a lot more. And there's room for more, obviously, but just that was the big turning point for us. It forces you to, you're not just looking after yourself anymore. You've got someone that has a family. You've got to support as well as yourself. So it changes a lot.
Yeah, and his big thing was, I've got a mortgage and a family, and I want something that's long term, and and having and being able to offer that gives him that flexibility and stability that and he gives us everything and more. He's been amazing. So
he's bought into the way we do things, which is great.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think everyone's we all desire stability, and I think there's a lot of people who probably procrastinate to some degree around making that first big step to putting somebody on, because it is exposure, it is responsibility, it is their mortgage and their kids and their food on the table. But once you get through that and you see the benefits that are had, not just for your business, but the fact that this guy's now got a stable job and you're his employer, they're positive stories. So you must be feeling pretty chuffed about that.
Very much so. And in the past, we've had casual stuff, and it's just been, well, it's not work. There's no work today. There's no work today. You have no. You just move on to the next day. There's nothing to worry about. But when you have an employee, you have to make sure he's got work. If it's a rainy day, you need to find something for him because you're paying for him. So, and it forces you to do so. So It's
Yeah.
Well, funny enough, off camera before we were standing over having a chat, and Nat pulled out all of the weather apps, and I think it's amazing to see. This business for me is 26 years old in a couple of weeks, and to see the transition of how we do business, and the embracing of technology, the stuff that we just take for granted, but has such a big bearing on being able to run the business effectively. Guys, how do you find keeping the workload up to your employee and keeping yourself busy? Any problems with sustaining the workloads?
we have our ups and downs. We have our quiet periods. We're obviously in a holiday area, so holiday times, no one wants to have people coming in fixing their house. So we do have our ups and downs there, but we've built, I think, a good residential customer base that refers us on. And that was our focus pretty early on. Build that up first and then move on to the commercials, the real estate strata. So now we have a good base of work that keeps us busy. We could be a little bit busier, but most of the time, yes, there's always work there.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing too, because as a self-employed person, one of the things that we always say to all of our franchisees is make sure you strike a good work-life balance and don't let the business run you. You've got to make sure you run it. So, factoring in the timings around Coffs being a holiday destination. Well, you guys have just had a nice holiday.
Yes,
Yeah.
Off to Fiji for a week. Tell us how was that with the girls?
lovely.
Amazing. Yeah, it was really nice to get away and switch off. And
Don't worry about work for a while.
yeah, we actually shut right down because our employee went off on a camping trip as well. So we all came back nice and refreshed, and it's all systems go.
So it's a really interesting point that Nat just said there, the ability to switch off. Did you switch off completely? Were you able to sort of really shut it down?
Look, I
Turn it
don't
off?
think
No.
you can ever know. When you've got it, you get better at it. I mean, I really focus a lot on work-life balance. Like, I do not email on the weekend. I have office hours on my voicemail. When we go away, we don't email. We have out of office. So we do try to manage that as best we can, and that helps us. And in turn, that helps our customers. So you have to have built something to be able to switch off, because if you've got a normal 9 to 5 job, you go home from work and you switch off, and we have to be able to do that as well. And it's really hard to do when you've got your own business, and it's taking a long time to get there, but I feel very good about how we manage that now. So yeah.
No, that's good. I think what you guys have done very well is you've given your business a personality, which is you and your family. And I think that then makes it a lot easier for other people who are those residential customers that Ben was just talking about to understand that they too have kids and they too want holidays and they too want to have a holiday from work. And
Yeah.
I think if you just paint that picture politely and clearly,
Mm.
it makes it a whole lot easier. And the thing is, when you come back, guess what? It's still here.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
business hasn't disappeared.
Yeah.
What it is that you have relied on for all of these years will be there to rely on again this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, you get to promote the fact now that you guys are franchisee of the year winners as well, which will just go further to adding credibility to what it is that you've already created for yourselves.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fantastic. So tell us, 2024, big 2023. What's ahead? What do you see? Looking forward to 2024. More of the same? Is there changes coming in the business?
I'd like there to be changes. I'd like to get another staff member to get off the tools more,
Yeah.
get that work-life balance really sorted out.
Yeah.
So hopefully, might not happen by the end of financial year, but yeah, hopefully.
Look, it's a very, I personally think our U&2 model, as we call it, is the real way to get on top of you running the business. It means that you've got the ability always to plug a gap. If your guy calls in sick, worst case is you jump back on the tools for a day or two.
Yeah.
Getting these guys fully booked out. The moment that you get to the point where your work is fully booked and you're doing a lot of work, you're ready for that second guy.
Yeah.
It's funny, over the years, somebody else has won our National Franchisee of the Year in his very laid-back, laconic way. He said, whenever you put a new staff member on, you just got to pedal that bit harder for a little while.
Yeah.
And it's effectively changing your role and going out there and driving business into your business, not going out there and banging the nails in.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And that is a hard part of the business. You are pedaling for work at the same time working.
Yeah.
also trying to find the time to make sure customers get quotes, invoices, all that. And it's hard work, but it's rewarding in the end.
Yeah, fantastic. What sort of hours are you doing that? What's your day look like in terms of the Hubby?
It's generally school hours, and I try to squeeze a few things into the afternoon. I mean, having two girls that play netball and all the other things they do, it keeps me busy in the afternoons. But this year, they're both going to be in the same school, and they're going to be catching a bus, and it's going to actually give me probably an extra hour or two in the day. So I'm going to really utilise that. If we do put on another employee, that's obviously going to add to my workload for scheduling, and it's definitely going to help me. So yeah, hopefully I'll get very close to normal working hours soon. Which is good.
So let me just take that a little bit further, because there's so many people now realising the value of quality admin support. This business runs much, much better when you've got somebody else helping, taking care of phone scheduling, quote follow-ups, preparation of quotes, sourcing materials, you name it, all those little things that can be done. What was your background at before you come in? How did you have any skills that were going to ultimately allow you to be running the admin side of the business? That's not just, this isn't your first win at Franchisee of the Year. You've stepped up a category in your win, and obviously for national. What was your background?
I was actually a demand planner, which is essentially someone that forecasts products for fast-moving consumer good companies. So my job was to argue with sales and marketing, come up with a forecast, send it through to production, and that job was quite a stressful one because, as most people know, forecasts are generally not correct. So it's, trying to get it as accurate as possible, and being quite organized, I think, has helped me in this business because, you really do need to be very organized, especially with a family as well. I like to try and keep Ben organized. I pretty much write his to-do list as well as mine, I think. But yeah, I think that organization, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist as well. So wanting to make sure I communicate to everybody and send the emails, and that really helps let customers know that we're available and easy to communicate with. So yeah, definitely helps.
I think it's a very important part of the running of anything successfully. You've got to have structure.
Yeah.
And to have that support there. And I think there's a lot of people, whether it's our franchise network tuning in now or people that might be considering hire a hubby and a sea change, hearing from somebody who's been there and gone through the process and has successfully applied these workings and learnings, to hopefully an insight into those who might have been thinking, like putting a staff member on, will I bring someone into the admin team? If I do make a sea change, can I bring more life into the business? I think the answer is unequivocally a yes, if you've got the right sort of background and the desire. So guys, holidays, work-life balance, any thoughts for 2024? Obviously you've just done Fiji. What are the plans for 2024 to keep that work-life balance in sync?
Oh, well, we're thinking about all going to this year's conference, with the girls as well. So it'll be another overseas trip, which will be exciting for them. But I think we're just going to do a few smaller trips. We're going to go and watch a big netball game in Brisbane. I try it because Coffs is a little limited in concerts and theatre. I try to get them to those sort of events as often as possible. So if anyone's got any Taylor Swift tickets, let me know.
Very good. And look, for those who don't know, the Hubby 2024 conference is in Phuket, and it's a really kid-friendly venue. We certainly love the idea of being able to have the guys come along. Let's be honest, there's some tax deductibility that works quite well for these sorts of things, but genuinely there's a lot of work to be done. Conference is our time where a lot of the guys will listen to the speakers, catch up with other franchisees and swap and share ideas and come back with a revised business plan. But at the same time, let the hair down a little bit, and if we can take the kids to somewhere as nice as it's going to be in August in Phuket, great time for a holiday and opportunity to get away and give them another experience in another country.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. So, guys, is there anything else you'd like to share about your journey and your big move from Sydney to Coffs?
I just think if you're feeling like you're a bit stuck and you want to give something a go. I mean, we'd always talked about buying a business and running it successfully. Just go for it. I mean, we jumped in. I mean, it could have not worked, but it did, and we pushed and we worked hard, and it's very possible to just really jump in there, even if it's scary. It's we've had so much support, and we couldn't have done it without Hire a Hubby, because we just had that support, and we've always had it. And it's, even though we're in Coffs Harbour, we've got so many friends around the network that we've made through the years, and we don't feel alone. We feel part of it, which is such a positive thing to have when you're about to jump into having your own business. So yeah,
Couldn't agree anymore. Exactly what. Exactly.
Just got to go for it. It's, make the decision. Life's short. It's, you just got to go for it. I think that's what we did.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And look, what a great story, guys. And I really appreciate you taking your time to share it. And as we've been talking about with work-life balance, and as part of my road trip, we've been dropping in and catching up with people. Well, obviously, having these sorts of awards that come around once a year, and the big gong like we're talking about, well, we do need to celebrate that. So the next stop today is out for a nice dinner. It might be a little bit belated, I know, but trying to get everyone's diaries aligned and coordinate things to be able to do that. So I'm certainly looking forward to going out and sharing a meal and a couple of celebratory drinks. And guys, congratulations on a fantastic 23. Thank you so much for what you do here in Coffs Harbour and flying the Hire a Hubby flag so positively in such a great way that's looking after this local community. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.